Greetings and welcome back to Wolf Kage Los Angeles. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. But we have to ask the question, what in the world is going on in Philadelphia right now? Or better yet, what's happening in all of these liberal-run cities and states? Because it's not just bad, it's like literally absolutely chaos. Picture this, if you will. You wake up, you step outside, you are hit with the stench of garbage piled up 30 feet high. And that is not an exaggeration. 30 feet of rotting trash sitting there uncollected for over a week. And no, this is not a third world country. This is a major American city in 2025. Philadelphia residents are literally wading through filth while their so-called leaders do absolutely nothing. There is no emergency cleanup. There is no press conferences, just silence and decay. Now, of course, we have to get real because we know that where there's garbage, there's also rats. But do they care? Of course not. And here's the kicker. This is not a one-off. We're seeing the same patterns in San Francisco, and Chicago, and Portland, and of course, downtown LA. You ever walked through Skid Row lately? It's literally a humanitarian disaster zone, and it's right in the middle of a global entertainment capital. So I ask, how does this keep happening? Who's accountable? Tell me, why do taxpayers get third world living conditions while the city budgets balloon into the billions? Anyway, check this clip out.
So the mountains of trash just continue to pile up on the streets this morning as sanitation workers remain off the job. Take a look at this massive amount of garbage that Chopper 6 found along Devereaux Avenue near Langdon Street in the Northeast. This is not a designated drop-off site, but it's kind of become a thing. People taking their garbage out there, and it is going to be a massive job to clean up. Look at how far that stretches.
Now, hold on a second. I thought that Philly was a city of brotherly love. Well, this sure doesn't look very loving to me. You've got 9,000 city workers on strike, the first major strike in nearly 40 years. And the mayor can't even sit down and cut a fair deal? Let's break this down. You see, the folks that are on strike right now, these are not bureaucrats, people pushing papers. No, these are the people who literally keep the city running. Sanitation crews, 911 dispatchers, street maintenance, garbage collectors. These are the heartbeat of the city. And yet, they're the lowest paid municipal workers in any major U.S. city. Their wages start at just $16 an hour, and all they're asking for is a 5% annual raise over 3 years. 5%, not 50. Just enough to maybe keep up with inflation. But the mayor, she's stuck at 2.75% because her donors and lobbyists said so. Let's be real. These liberal mayors burn through taxpayer cash on pet projects and crony contracts. And when the real city work needs funding, they play like they're broke. Sound familiar? It should, because right here in Los Angeles, we're seeing the same circus. We've got record homelessness, crumbling roads, rising crime. And yet, City Hall is brainstorming how to keep illegal immigrants housed and fed on our dime, while local citizens get less and less and less. Meanwhile, back in Philly, the garbage is stacked 20 to 30 feet high. 20 to 30 feet high of rot in the middle of summer. That's human waste. That's trash. That's rats. That's disease. And the mayor, where do you think she is? Probably lounging in air conditioning far from the stench. Brotherly love? More like bureaucratic betrayal.
Of these sights and smells of summer aren't what residents and tourists had in mind.
It's stank, and it's get worse because of the heat.
That's bad, yeah. People are walking by and holding their nose.
Heaps of trash are piling up across Philadelphia after thousands of city workers walked off the job a week ago.
Philadelphia works because we do.
The city stuck in a standoff over pay with District Council 33, a union representing some 9,000 municipal workers, and the fallout felt over the holiday weekend.
I never, ever want to disappoint my fans.
Hip-hop legend LL Cool J dropping out of a 4th of July concert in a show of solidarity with union workers on the picket line.
There's absolutely no way that I could perform when I know that people are out there fighting for a living wage.
So, of course, now the mayor of Philadelphia is claiming she just doesn't have the budget to pay those workers. Does that sound familiar? Because it should, because it's the same excuse we hear right here in California. But let me tell you why that budget is tight. Over the last few years, Philly tried to out-virtue signal Los Angeles by launching their own renter subsidy programs. First, they dropped $60 million. Then they threw in an extra $25 million to pay the rent of low-income tenants. Now, you might say, okay, well, but that helps out some folks. But here's where it gets wild. That money also covered the rent for illegal aliens. Yep. While their own workers are out there begging in the streets, that's American citizens begging for a few extra dollars, the city's throwing millions as subsidies for non-citizens and then turning around and saying, sorry, American citizens, we're broke. It's the same broken playbook. Democrat mayors, Democrat governors are using your tax money to make their cities magnets for people who aren't even citizens. And this is all while ignoring the very workers who built those cities in the first place. The very workers who are American tax-paying citizens. And here's what's crazier to me, because so many Americans have no clue this is even happening. Why? Because they're too busy swallowing propaganda from TV pundits who paint every illegal immigrant as a hard-working saint. But what they don't tell you are the costs, the taxes, the overcrowded schools, the gangs, the rising crime. But I digress. Because while that's happening in Philly, here in California, we've got lawmakers trying to chip away at parental rights. Again, yeah, this thing called AB 495. This is very dangerous, guys. It opens the door to policies that take the power away from the parents. And who do they give it to? They give it over to the state. Nicole Pearson, who I consider a brave attorney and advocate, testified in front of the House today, and she broke it all down. This bill isn't just bad. It's a slippery slope that puts our children at serious risk. Check out this clip.
Nicole Pearson, I'm a mother of three, and a child of immigrants, and an attorney who spent her career helping immigrants and fighting human trafficking. I am also desperate to help children affected by ICE raids, but AB 495 is not it. We all know this because in 2021, the federal government faced a swell of unaccompanied minors at the border and was desperate to place them quickly. What did they do? They reduced vetting procedures, and as a result, the Department of Homeland Security has lost track of over now 600,000 unaccompanied minors. Despite this, California wants to do something similar, but even worse. With just one sheet of paper from the internet, California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment of her, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. It's stated right here in the caretaker's affidavit that I printed for you, which I pulled directly from the bill. Line 6 allows this transfer of parental rights without even having to speak to the parent. The author claims AB 495 is about giving immigrant families the agency to choose the safety plan that works, that preserves family unity. Where is the parental designation? Their signature at the bottom here is not required. She's co-opting a term, non-relative family member, from the foster care and dependency probate systems, but without any of the procedural guardrails, no background checks.
Ms. Meg Madden. When I was a teenager in the 1970s, I saw temporarily vulnerable kids like me being groomed and sexually abused because well-meaning adults had placed us in the care of people who should not have had that trust. Since then, I have watched as child sex abuse scandal after scandal is exposed, and when it is far too late, people ask how it could happen. It happens because well-meaning adults put children in the hands of those who should not have that trust. I fear that AB 495, as it is currently written, is an example of this possibility. Children who are left parentless need to be placed through the normal procedures for abandoned children so that there is some government oversight. There is no accountability for these children, and that will lead to many of these children being harmed. The state has the responsibility to ensure that children without parents, even if temporarily, are in safe homes or institutes with tracking and a legal system involved in their welfare. Permitting any adult who says that he knows that child to take control of a child is criminal. This bill ensures that the unaccountable unaccounted for children are never found, and that more will be lost, leaving grieving parents nowhere to turn. And this bill is not narrowly tailored to situations where parents are hiding from immigration enforcement officers. It applies to all children for any reason. There is nothing stopping any out-of-state kidnapper from filling out the form and claiming control over the child hiding in plain sight in California with a child. Please consider these when you think about this bill. Thank you.
You know what astonishes me? The fact that more people are not outraged, or at the very least curious about why Democrats are working so hard to take control over your children. And this isn't just some fringe theory. I mean, right here in California, we're seeing law after law after law that chips away at parental rights while handing more power over to the state. Now, why would someone want to do that? Let's start with the obsession around sexual education. For some reason, Democrat lawmakers are dead set on pushing radical sex-related curriculum into the classrooms. And why? And if you, as a parent of a child, disagree, they've written laws that let them remove your child from your custody. Yes, if you disagree at what your child sees, at what they're trying to put into your child's mind, they could come to your home with the police and take your child away from you. Also, ask yourself, why are they trying to eliminate private and charter schools under another bill called AB 84? You see, that bill would force over 700,000 students back into the same broken, politicized public school system. And here's where it gets darker. Under AB 495, a teacher, a medical worker, or even a so-called mentor can file a one-page form, no court order required, and gain custody of your child. Just like that. No phone calls needed, no warning needed. Now, if you think that's extreme, AB 223 has already passed. Now that allows third parties to change your child's name. Third parties can come in and change your child's name, your child's sex, and gender markers on official state documents without even telling you. That's not a theory. That is the law. And if AB 1084 passes, and with the Democrat supermajority, it likely will, those changes could be made final in as little as 6 weeks. This is happening in a state that calls itself a sanctuary for reproductive and transgender health care. What does that mean? That means someone can bring your child to California without your permission, even in violation of a custody order, and the state will protect them, shield them from you. This isn't Bizarro World. This is literally California in 2025. And while people are distracted with celebrity gossip and culture wars, the parental rights are being quietly erased. Now, some will say, "Wolf, that's just fear-mongering." No, it's written into law. So the question is, when do we say enough is enough?